Hey guys, it's Tan here with another episode of Mentality, and today we're talking about homeostasis and your A, B, and C game. A big factor in your performance is called homeostasis. This is just a fancy way of saying your body has had the right amount of food, water, and sleep. Without homeostasis, meaning your body has not had the right amount of food, water, and sleep, you will not be performing your best. Make sure that you have this, you have had the right amount of food, water, and sleep before you go into big ranked grinds, tournaments, etc. You might be saying, Tan, I don't want to have to worry about all this if I just want to play some ranked. No, I don't want to have to think about it. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, let me make sure I take a nap. It's just a lot of work. That's fine. You can go into ranked anyways, being a little bit hungry, a little bit thirsty, maybe a little bit tired, and it's no big deal. But if you do, this is where we talk about our A, B, and C games. If you do recognize you are not playing your best. Breaking down the A, B, and C game, what do I even mean by A, B, and C game? Well, your A game is classified as your top 15% of performances. Your C game is your bottom 15% of performances, and your B game is your middle 70% of performances. Most of the time when you play a game, you will be on your B game. On your best days, you'll be on your A, and on your worst days, you'll be on your C. Why does it matter what game you're on? Well, if you know what game you're on, if you know you're doing your worst, you can identify what kind of mistakes you make when you're playing your worst, so that the next time you catch yourself and you say, alright, I'm definitely on my C game, I'm definitely playing poorly, you can look at your log that we talked about in episode 3, and you can say, on my C game, I perform these errors, these mistakes more often. I play worse this way. These are the mistakes that I make. And what you can do is you can focus on those mistakes. You say, I know I'm on my C game. I know these are the mistakes I make on my C game. Therefore, I will focus this entire session on not making those mistakes. So what you're doing is you're raising your skill floor and your skill ceiling at the same time. You're improving what your worst games are and your best games, depending on what game you are at the time. Now, how do you identify them? It's just a feel. You're never going to be precise. It doesn't have to be exactly like, oh, that was a good game, but do I want to classify that as an A game, or do I want to classify it as a B game? Just if you have to question it, it's a B game. And we'll just put it as that. And it's not that big of a deal. If you label something as an A game that was probably a B game, oh well, it's not a big deal. It's just for you. It's just for your own reference. Just, try to be fair and accurate. If you can come up with a system, that's fine. Like I said earlier, once you identify which game you're on, you write it down in your log with all the other stuff. Maybe it's map, hero, team comp, and what game you're on. So, you're like Dorado, Junkrat, C game. And then next time you play Junkrat on Dorado, you look and you're like, oh, well, if I'm playing poorly, these are the mistakes I should watch out for. If I'm playing well, these are the mistakes I should watch out for. And then you can improve on those. So after a lot of collection, after you've played enough games on all of your levels, and you've analyzed your own games to figure out what kind of mistakes you made, like I said, you can improve them, and then you won't be making those mistakes anymore. So that's kind of the goal of this whole thing. Of course, like we said, homeostasis will help boost that up most of the time. But just because you've had enough food, you've had enough water, and you've had enough sleep does not mean you're on your A game. It just means you're playing better than you would have had you not had all of that. So if you can, I urge you, for your body's sake and your mentality's sake, to make sure you have a snack if you're a little hungry. Get a glass of water during your ranked sessions and just take a sip every now and then. If you're tired, take a nap. But definitely if you're doing large ranked grinds or tournaments, it's very, very highly suggested you do that. Now, if you're just doing a couple competitive games here and there, it's not that big of a deal. But the most important thing in this episode is definitely recognizing your A, B, and C games and what mistakes you make during each of those. Because like we talked about earlier, if you can identify what game you're on beforehand, you already know what mistakes to look out for going into your next game. So that's very important. And by improving upon those mistakes, you will improve your worst games and your best games altogether as a player. That's all for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.